go.
We did it.
I think
good enough.
We're done. That was it.
Thank you. Hi, eywa'eveng,
Giovanni.
No, wait, we forgot to...
That was a nice short episode.
I know, right?
We forgot to record an opening.
Oh, fuck. Walangati kame mafrapo, and welcome to the Eana Mokri podcast. We have a skeleton crew again, and we're not going to talk about a whole lot. Okay, now future me, now go and put the intro right here, and we're good.
Don't forget to introduce yourself this time.
Well, damn it. I forget that every time.
I thought we were actually going to start recording now.
Yeah, you know, we've been recording. This is the episode. Walangati kame mafrapo, and welcome to the Eana Mokri podcast. You can consider this Skeleton Crew number 2 Electric Boogaloo if you so desire, because we have a light episode on the book anyway. We always try to make it a light episode, but then we end up going for an hour. Anyway, I'm Pamarik, and here with me we have Tuna Yayo and Woolen.
Or Mengar.
Well, you're talking to the audience, so... if we have an audience of 2 people, I don't know why we're doing this.
Ik had Ema Aupo. Mefo.
Well, if you're talking to us, I think you'd use Mengar.
No, I was talking to the audience. I'm just not sure how many people are listening.
Okay, so if this train wreck of an intro was any indicator, let me fill you in on what's been going on with the Eana Mokri podcast. So you may have noticed that episodes have not been super regular. We've hit just a series of life things that get in the way, and scheduling conflicts, and gosh, we've got so much that we need to talk about on the podcast. So much. We've got a new leNa'vi post. We've got the final issue of tsu'tey's Path. There's a mobile game coming, and we just got more information about that. But we're not going to talk about any of that on today's episode.
None of it.
None of it. We are literally just gathering because this is as many people as we could get together, and we're going to record the cast, and we're just going to see what happens. Fortunately, as a good prompt for this episode, our good friend Tuna Yayo has just gotten back from a trip to Disney Pandora, Valley of Mo'ata.
Yes.
And please carry this podcast by talking about your experience.
Oh, don't worry, man. I have not skipped leg day. Climb onto my back as I carry us to victory. I will ride with you. Oh man, though, the leg day joke is not a joke, because so much walking around in Florida, I didn't realize there was so much square mileage to Disney. It's huge.
It's huge and getting bigger.
Yeah. That's what she said.
Come on, we are 2 minutes in now at this point. I mean, how bad is this going to get?
You never know. Cross your fingers, man.
So you had a lot of walking to do.
A lot of walking. The first day, went to Magic Kingdom, checked out some of the rides there. The Seven Dwarfs rides, Peter Pan, Flight Over London. I can't remember them. Yeah, I can't remember the names of any of these rides. Pirates of the Caribbean was super cool.
So maybe for the people who are not so familiar with Disneyland or Disney World, I don't know what the difference is. Can you fill us in maybe on those rides?
Right. The difference between Disneyland and Disney World.
One's in California and one's in Florida. And the Florida one's the good one
there we
because
go.
It has Disney Pandora.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Right,
let's go with that.
So Disney World is basically the only section of the park that is not actually on this world.
Sure.
Yeah, Disney World ironically contains the worlds from other universes.
Oh, really? Yeah, they have Galaxy's Edge in California, don't they? Disneyland?
I don't actually know. So, spoiler alert, I know nothing about Star Wars. Like, literally nothing about Star Wars, and this extends to Disney parks and other related things. So I am useless when talking about Galaxy's Edge.
So we did go to Galaxy's Edge when we visited Hollywood Studios in Disney World on the second day of our Disney foray into Disney madness. It was super cool, especially the Millennium Falcon ride. And I was a little nervous because of the amazing experience of the Star Wars park area.
You thought the Avatar experience was going to pale in comparison?
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to live up to the sheer grandeur. And man, was I wrong. When the Flight of Passage came along, holy crap. I don't think it's any exaggeration to say that it is literally the best ride in the world. I think that is an objective standard that all future rides should be measured against. How well does it compare to the Flight of Passage? So
high praise.
Yes. Just so much attention to detail, and I don't want to spoil too much for anybody that wants to go experience it themselves, and I strongly suggest you do, because it is
the entire
truly,
audience.
Yes, it's truly an experience to be had. But I'll be brief. The visuals for it, despite being composite, kind of like 3D, you wear 3D glasses. The visuals were so good, and usually I hate things that have a 3D glasses component to them, just because my freaking nose bridge is so messed up, I can't wear 3D glasses for some reason, and I'll get this weird kind of like astigmatism with my eyes, you know. But this one, it was really sold well. There was so many details in the actual rendered visuals themselves. Every time I wrote it 3 times, noticed something new every single time, and the immersion was so immense, just with like, you know, kind of, you know, 3.5D element to it, spraying water on your face as you went through waterfalls, and blasting wind past your ears, you know. It was awesome. So good. Especially the seat that you sit in, that's kind of like supposed to be part of the link up pod, you know. It has these 2 bladders on the sides of the seat, and you straddle it like a motorcycle.
Right.
And you can feel what is supposed to be the lungs of the Ikran breathing, you know, in and out between your legs, you know. And
yeah, I've heard people describe that.
Oh, that was undoubtedly surreal. The best part, because it doesn't just do, you know, like a steady mechanical breath. It heats up as well, so you can like feel the warmth, and it will breathe in tandem with the flapping of the wings, and, you know, take longer breaths during dives and stuff like that. It was so cool. And the first time I rode it, we landed, you know, at this beautiful beach overlook, or this beautiful cliff overlooking a beach. You could see the ocean and the sunset, and there was that giant whale jumping out of the water with, you know, Aikran flying overhead. And then it did, you know, the whole sucking you out thing, disconnecting the Neuralink. And I was in tears. No exaggeration. I was in tears, and I did not want it to end. It was just so good. And it was like a post-Avatar depression syndrome all over again. It's such a good ride. Go ride it.
I fully plan to. So this is something I refuse to let myself get like overly optimistic about basically anything Avatar. Like mostly because I just don't want to set myself up for disappointment.
Of course.
But there'll be these discussions like, how much do you think the sequels are going to gross in like the box office, and like, do you think they're going to be successful or whatever?
It feels like a horse race with everybody placing bets and stuff like that.
Exactly. But like when I hear stories about people who have gone to the park and specifically experienced Flight of Passage and just seen and heard about, I haven't seen it, but like heard about just all the loving detail that went into every aspect about it, I can't help but feel like, yeah, no, the sequels are actually probably going to be pretty freaking amazing, because it like, if they're putting this much work into, they're basically made like a miniature movie, right?
Yeah. I'm
So,
sure it took
like,
them like at least a year or a year and a half to render just the footage that they had for the ride.
exactly. Like they and there's so much care and attention that goes into the Disney park, and like the world of Pandora is just perfect for this because it was already so detail rich. And
Yes.
that's what I love about the world of Avatar. Like, first and foremost, like that is my primary draw to this franchise, I guess. Franchise question mark. As a fan, is just the ridiculous attention to detail. And with that in mind, like I can't help but be hopeful for the sequels, just because they're going to carry through with that level of like love to the world itself and making it feel
Definitely.
authentic and real. And I mean, the first film is still really good, and that was made in 2009.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait to see the new things. Like, I can't even imagine what the sequels are going to look like. Like, I can't even fathom in my head.
So do
But
we know?
it's going to be nutty.
It is.
Do we know who made this footage for the ride? Was this James Cameron and team? Or
James
was this-
Cameron and Lightstorm Studios were very heavily involved. Paul Fromer actually spent, about a month, if I remember correctly, at the park coaching the people that were speaking the language, which I'll have to get to that in a minute, but not quite now. And of course, I think you had the regular cast and crew of Disney Imagineers helping out.
Yeah, no, Fromer was also involved in the developing of the park, including he wrote the shaman song on the river journey, and all the Na'vi that is spoken in Flight of Passage. That he went through that many years ago, actually.
Yeah.
So he was involved from the start, and so I have no doubt in my mind that Cameron and Lando and friends were heavily involved.
Yeah.
So different question. How long did you have to queue? Because you said you went to this ride 3 times.
Yes, we did.
So how
first
how
time,
busy
I
was it?
believe. Very busy. Busier than the line for the Millennium Falcon ride at Galaxy's Edge, which just opened. It was 65 minutes long the first time. I think it was maybe 50 the second time, and it was 75 minutes the third time. There were no fast passes available for this ride because everybody had booked it 2 weeks in advance. It is the attraction in Animal Kingdom. And it's kind of funny because Animal Kingdom is seemingly sparse by comparison. There isn't really a whole lot of stuff compared to the other parks. In Magic Kingdom, you've got tons of rides that people go to. Pirates of the Caribbean probably being the pinnacle, but not by much, because everything else is there's just so much, especially with Main Street.
So those kingdoms are part of the entire park, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, a possible reason for Animal Kingdom being sparse is it's sort of in the name. It's Animal Kingdom. As far as I remember, it was basically like a zoo, like originally, and then they keep like adding stuff onto it, like Valley of Mo'ata, which is more like a more prototypical park. But like the premise of Animal Kingdom was like to be a little bit more natural and wildernessy.
Yeah, and I did appreciate the aesthetic, but I kind of expected, Animal Kingdom, it's in the name, with the whole zoo aesthetic, to have more animals there, and I didn't really see a whole lot other than, the wide array of naturally occurring Floridian birds. Florida has so many birds. It was like seeing my people all over again.
Yeah, my grandparents have a place down in Florida, so as a kid I would visit a lot, and just the number of birds down there is nutty.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I didn't even know what half of the birds were called, and I can't remember the name of half the birds. There's just so many. What was I going to say though? Yeah, so I had a few complaints with the experience, but to be honest, it wasn't that deal breaking.
Mm-hmm.
One was the workers there speaking learnna'vi. I'm doing air quotes. I should be saying speaking Na'vi, because it's bad. It took me about a good 3 to 5 seconds to realize that I had walked past a cast member or a park employee and realized that their calte was supposed to be calte. And then I was like, I just kind of turned around and I was like, what'd you say to me? You know,
which is probably the reaction that they are used to getting, but not for the reason that.
Right. So, and I was trying to be very nice, but
Right.
Lovingly correct every time I heard calte. I was like, calte ma'elan. And then they would just be like, "Ooh, we got a real fancy pedant over here," you know. There were a few that were very appreciative of the language help, and to see semi-official learnna'vi member representatives coming to their park.
Awesome.
Andy wore the shirt, Samsiu. You know, I don't have a Kalte shirt with the learnna'vi.org on the back. I figured if anybody went and visited learnna'vi.org, it would probably be down.
Yeah.
We need to get that fixed.
Poor learnna'vi was having server issues recently.
Yes. Very, very.
Though the shirt in question hasn't been available for a very long time. It's OG.
Yeah, isn't it from like one of the first Avatar meets or something?
Pretty much.
I think so, yeah.
Man.
You see all the old pictures with all the old timers having that shirt. But if you're a newcomer, you won't get one.
Yeah. Gonna have to go ahead and design some shirts with like tpublic.com or something like that. # not sponsored.
So have you ever been to an Avatar meet? I think you
no,
said
I
it
have
before,
not. It's because I'm a newer fan and I've lived far away from any Avatar meet that has ever happened. I have never been to an Avatar meet. I do hope one day to go to an Avatar meet so I can see all your beautiful faces. And
well, you might be a disappointment here.
Yeah, all of our beautiful faces and Pomadic
and William.
But yeah, no, I'm in a very similar situation. I'm even newer to the fan base than you are, Matayo, and yeah, I have dodged Avatar meets. Like there was one in Seattle when I was living basically in the backyard there. I had no idea it was going on at all because I wasn't like into or entrenched in the fan base. Yeah, I've just barely missed so many of them. And then there was going to be an Avatar meet in, I want to say they're planning, I don't know if it still is, Vancouver, or there was going to be one, or there was, I don't remember. And that was going to be like after I had just finished moving from Washington.
Oh, man.
Now that I am aware of these things, then I dodged being able to go to that one, so that's great. My current plan was to go to the first Avatar meet that happens after the sequels drop, just because I think it would be cool to go to what I imagine would be a much larger
that's when
meet.
It's going to be booming.
Yeah, but y'all have convinced me to do my best to attend ones that maybe would be smaller, just because it's cool to meet people.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
So one thing I wanted to talk about real quickly here, just because this was the other downside besides, not having people, speak perfect learnna'vi. Which,
how dare they?
I don't know how that happened. Paul Fromer himself was there, So I guess people, just like get hired and then quit, and then you have so many permutations among generations that it doesn't look anything like it's like the telephone game.
That's pretty much it, actually. Fromer only worked with the original cast, and the turnover rate, even among the people who have been part of our community, has been relatively high. Like, we've had a couple of people who have worked there, and like in the span of a couple of months, they like start working and then leave.
Yeah.
The turnover maybe at Disney in general, but especially at Valley of Mo'ata, seems to be pretty high. And again, they don't have like proper instruction there. They have sheets to go off of.
Right. If I ever got hired there, I'm telling you, that's where I'm freaking retiring from.
Same. Like, I would fully embrace teaching and would totally be a cast member of somebody who is a linguist.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean, like, on one hand, it's of course to be expected. On the other hand, like given the usually very high attention to detail that Disney has, I'm a bit disappointed to hear this.
Yes, and that was the other thing that I wanted to talk about. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, my William.
No, go on.
Oh, okay. So, when I was at Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars attraction, I was blown away by firstly, the scope of it. There was, well, I'm not good at describing things in, 2 acres? For any of you farmers out there.
I only know acres in context of, like, I know roughly how big 100 acres is, because that was the size of this one property that we would visit that my grandparents owned at one point. So, like, I know vaguely what 100 acres is, but even from that, I can't really imagine what 1 acre is.
Yeah,
but,
maybe someone, like, translate this into proper units, or...
It was exactly a lot.
Okay.
And there was so much. You'd think that with a park of this scope, you'd get a lot of diluted content, That was not the case at all. Everything just felt so lovingly made by the Imagineers, people that genuinely cared about the Star Wars franchise. It was crazy. I found the Universal Greebly for anybody that is into, prop making, kit bashing, stuff like that. I found the Universal Greebly on the Millennium Falcon, and it was like 7 inches across. It was huge. It was insane. All of the text, and I mean all of the text, all of the logos, all of the various brand names that were there at Galaxy's Edge were either subtitled or entirely in Galactic Basic. Even the Coca-Cola bottles only had Galactic Basic written on them. It was amazing.
That's cute.
The only thing that wasn't written in Galactic Basic was the brand on the toilet in the bathroom. That's literally the only thing. So I was kind of let down by the world of Avatar, Valley of Mo'ata, when I found, that, the speakers weren't, really embracing the Na'vi language, and the park wasn't as big as the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge park.
To be fair,
so
Avatar is a significantly smaller IP than Star Wars.
Don't say that to James Cameron.
No, I think even James Cameron would agree with me.
But he's definitely got Lucas in his sights.
Right.
But so, what was there was so good. It just made you want more. That right. I guess that's basically what I'm trying to say. What were you saying, Willem?
So I was wondering this as a completely, like, I'm as ignorant of Star Wars as Pamrik seems to be. So Galactic Basic, is this just like an actual conlang, or is it just an alphabet substitution?
It's just a 1-to-1 cipher.
Right, then I can see that it would be like much easier for them to do than actually translating stuff into proper Na'vi, because if it wasn't proper, you would also not have liked it.
I mean, on one hand, yes. On the other hand, that is a lot of custom printing and labeling for, like getting together with Coca-Cola themselves and saying, hey, we need you to print this in, this cipher. And
not as hard when you are Disney and you are contacting Coca-Cola, though.
This is probably
something Star Wars related. Like, those are, like, if you were to, like, you could go anywhere in the world and say Star Wars, Disney, Coca-Cola, and no matter what language the locals speak, they'll know what these things are.
Can you imagine trying to communicate some kind of intention by saying Star Wars, Disney, Coca-Cola?
Sorry, I don't speak McDonald.
Oh, it's so true. So, trying to keep spoilers to a minimum, but when I was in the waiting line for the Flight of Passage, you go through this laboratory. That's where you see them growing, the Avatar. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. That dude is an absolute unit. He has admirable heft. He is huge.
The queuing experience is supposed to be really cool, like part of the ride itself almost.
One thing that I saw, though, was in the scientist little cubicle thing that they've got going on there. There were various notes and stuff written down. Mm-hmm. A lot of stuff about a certain invasive species, and one of them even had a model of the T virus sitting at their desk. The T virus bacteria, which, if you are not aware of what this looks like, look it up. It's the stuff of nightmares. It's like a little bacteria robot. It's terrifying. Mm-hmm. And there seemed to be a pretty strong sub-theme. Definitely not nearly as strong as the whole environmental conservation or anything like that. But it seemed to be hinting at viruses and diseases both immigrating from humans to, native Pandorans and from Pandora to humans.
Such is the way, I mean...
Right. Yeah. But I feel like there's going to be some kind of theme with the upcoming sequels that could be how humans regain a foothold on Pandora, is because the Na'vi have no other choice than to find new medicines from them because they're suffering from tsu'tey diseases.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
we will see.
Very good food for thought.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of food, did you have any of the cuisine?
Oh, it was so good, man.
Oh, good.
It's the Satutli bowl was really good. I know it was just tsu'tey food versions of actual Na'vi cuisine, and I'm sure that Na'vi portions are probably 3 to 5 times larger.
To be fair, I likely wouldn't like Na'vi cuisine. Most of it actually looks gross, so thank you, Disney, for this.
True, but it very much did feel like something at least prepared in conjunction with Na'vi MU with, human cooks and chefs trying to give visitors a very welcoming experience, and the immersion of the entire park is great. Yeah. I didn't get to try any of the ale or alcohol that they had there, which I found very interesting because it hadn't even occurred to me that the Na'vi have any alcoholic pursuits.
Swa.
Yeah. We do have the word for get drunk, yeah. But it's always oh, what if, the natives got the fire water? That's just always been kind of the thought in the back of my head. That, and they have a considerable lack of wheat, I'm guessing. And beer is, made from wheat.
Yeah.
Or at least in my limited understanding of brewery.
Our alcoholic beverages are made from that. So, of note, something interesting about Na'vi word for swa is an intoxicating beverage or spirits. it doesn't necessarily have alcohol in it, though the implied thing is that it has roughly the same effect.
Yeah.
So it's probably alcohol, just being as alcohol is a fairly, like, I guess you could imagine alcohol existing on basically any planet, like the chemical itself of alcohol. So there's that. But
well, I don't actually even know if with Na'vi biology, our alcohol actually would have an intoxicating effect.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
a lot of
Na'vi
just flat out kill them.
Also have L2 and so on. So they clearly have other substances that are probably not alcohol, because I can't imagine L2 actually consisting of alcohol.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
I
don't think we will find out.
I'm looking at the menu for Satuli Canteen.
Oh yeah.
They have Dreamwalker Sangria.
I know, right? It's
just.
But if you look at the prices,
they try to pull in,
the prices are just astronomical.
It's a Disney park.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, maybe I should try something. I am 21 after all. Legal drinking age in America is 21. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to pay $13 for. I mean, I like have barely even started drinking. You know, odds are I'm probably not gonna like it.
Right. I'm not drunk enough to pay this much to get drunk.
Exactly. But a lot of it did seem to be, and I know nothing about alcohol, so forgive me, anybody that is older than 21.
Me neither.
I'm 30, neither do I.
Pominic, you're just generally ignorant of the world. You're naive. Don't worry, we will.
That is true.
We will take
that
care
is
of you.
Fair.
No,
usually people say this about me, but okay.
A lot of it did seem to be fruit based. A lot of and I mean that makes sense. If Na'vi were to make alcoholic stuff, it would probably be fermented fruit. So it seemed like cider and kind of. Not exactly mead, but in that general vein. So that was cool, just to see the various things that they had. There were also some really cool pictures and documented letters and stuff like that on the walls in the queue to the restaurant when you were waiting in line for your meal. Nice. That kind of, went through the history of, how the Valley of Mo'ara became the gathering place, as it is in Na'vi, for both humans and Na'vi alike. The agreement, how they came to that. I'm a little disappointed, though, because in one of the pictures at the founding of the park, as it was supposed to be, I'm almost certain that Neytiri was in that picture, standing beside an Olo Ektan that looked like Etukan. Didn't sense, considering that it's 40 years after the events of Avatar, we could just say that Jake aged pretty crappily, whereas Neytiri is, just became even more of a MILF.
Maybe it's some other. Maybe it's some other Ektan.
Spoilers! Jake dies, maybe. But it was like the Omatakaya clan, right? So I was like, the only way that this could happen is if, Jake and Neytiri are still alive, they're the ones that agreed to this whole thing, Surprisingly,
maybe.
I know, but they were like...
who knows what the sequels could hold.
Right. It's funny because in the letters written by one of the founders, the human founders of the park, it was like, and we had them, this is commemorating the signing of the contracts, so that Na'vi and humans could come together in peace. And I'm like, so let me get this straight. Either you taught them how to read in order for signing this contract, or you had them sign this contract and it could have had, Fracall in it, or Jake is the only one there that knows anything about what a freaking contract is. So these are the only two options. I need to know more.
They were taught how to read. That was canon in the first film.
Yeah. And
they learned it very quickly.
The leadership positions is what I mean.
Right. Yeah, I mean, well, it would make sense. Jake would be actually the ideal individual to like negotiate and explain
Very
what the
much
contract is.
I mean, he probably has low diplomacy, but I mean, he's
No,
the only
we
one.
know for a fact he has charisma of a stick.
Oh man, I really need this Avatar tabletop RPG.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I didn't know that there was a queue experience for waiting for food, but I mean that makes sense given the other attention to details and like where they put attention to detail, which is everywhere.
Yeah. One of my favorite things was in the queue for the Flight of Passage, you go through this cave and there's a lot of cave paintings, and on one of the walls you can see a depiction of Toruk Makto, and I'm
Nice.
guessing because, of significance and cave paintings, I'm guessing it was probably like the first Toruk Makto. And it just had that really reverent feeling to it. There was another one though that really confused me because there was a cave wall depiction of two Na'vi standing and holding hands with what looked to be not a Na'vi in the middle, but very clearly some kind of, being. It was pretty much the same as the other two Na'vi in shape and form, except for it was red, and it had like its head consisted of a palm, and they like pressed the three fingers down on top of it, so it had like these three protrusions coming from its head, whereas the other Na'vi standing on either side of it did not. And I was wondering if that was, it didn't seem like it could be the tsu'tey, because tsu'tey are like way smaller than them. And
So this could be any number of things. One, it could be hinting at the sequels. The verbiage hasn't been totally consistent on whether or not the Metgaina are Na'vi or not, or if they are some other species. Like the verbiage has been very ambiguous as to whether or not they are Na'vi. Me personally, I believe they're not. And
I would love to see a new species.
They're not some other species. I believe that they're probably going to be Na'vi. That's just like what I think. It's like, don't get disappointed by my frickin' opinion, man.
I'm disappointed by your opinion.
Okay, but so if I were to rationalize that cave painting in Mo'ada, it might just be representing that this was like a leader of some kind, because red is associated with leadership just across Na'vi culture.
Right.
Like if you wear red, you're a leader, and that might be a easy shorthand for communicating, oh, this is like a leader.
Yeah.
Not to talk too much about it, but with the Pandora Rising game that is coming soon, there exists a screenshot of that shows a bunch of like the character cards that are going to be part of characters in this game, and there you see a lot of silhouette defining headdresses with like protrusions and stuff on some of these images.
True.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that was a headdress, as you said.
Yeah.
Maybe, or it could just be something like, yeah, again, I these are my assumptions, but if I had to guess, it's probably just representing a leader of some kind with a headdress, but I'm okay with being proven wrong with some red-skinned species existing in the future of the Avatar franchise.
Yeah. I and I don't want to beat this topic to death because I know this is supposed to be a light episode and we're probably way over time already. But
we're at 38 minutes.
I would love to see. Really? It sounds like we've been talking for 2 hours. I would love to see another species. I personally, my little headcanon, fanboy is hoping that it's going to be the origin of the word Vrtep, and at one point they were friends with these Vrtep, and then something happened, and then it had the negative connotation to it. But I mean, I
Interesting.
can see that being the case where it's just like some generic leader. The only thing with that is that uh, with this crazy headdress, the only significant leader I can think of, to be depicted is Toruk Makto, who is painted on a cave wall not 10 feet from this depiction and
Hmm.
is not painted in red and does not have this headdress.
Right.
Uh, so I don't know. It could be anything. I'm really hoping, but we'll see what comes.
Understandable. Um, a something to temper that, because I'm the most fun person in the party. Uh, I
Tom
don't
the Fun
think
Police.
I am pull over, soon to be having fun. The I don't think Toruk Makto historically has ever necessarily been a leader, but becomes a leader by becoming Toruk Makto. Toruk Makto can just be some
Yeah.
rando like Jake.
I wish we had the stories of the five other Toruk you
I
know.
Well,
know,
we have
right? And
Come
we
one,
on,
have
right?
one
man.
from we have one
Yeah.
from Cirque du Soleil, and I'm pretty sure whoever the main character of Toruk is was not an Ektan.
No, no, there
Yeah.
I
were
can't
not.
remember his name,
Ralu
but
and Du.
and yeah, Entu.
Um, yeah.
So anyway, cool. It sounds like you had a fantastic time. I was when you were describing your adventure in the Discord,
Yeah.
while you were on the adventure, I was amazed that it took you. It was like it took you to day 3 to go to Disney Pandora, because I knew I had assumed you were traveling with Alim, and I'm like, how did they not go to
Oh,
Disney Pandora like
definitely. Like, that
first?
was the first thing that I wanted to do. When I found out that we weren't even going to Disney until the weekend had come and passed, I was,
Oh,
like, destroyed. And I was
oh
like, what am
no.
I supposed to do in the meantime?
Why even bother going to Florida?
I know, right? And I guess we, went to a beach, and I'd never been to a beach, and I experienced a beach, and it was so great. No,
Beaches are
it was
highly
fun.
overrated.
Yeah, it wasn't nearly as fun as going to Disney. Um, though I guess, kind of the whole save the best for last theory did kind of work because
Fair.
in
That
in
is a good.
comparison to anything else, I feel
Mhm.
like they would have been anything else would have been overshadowed by the sheer grandeur of the Valley of Mo'ara.
Right.
So on that topic, like let's say that there's some random guy in Europe, John, let's call him. Let's say they're an Avatar fan. Do you think it would be worth for John to take a plane to Florida and go to Moara just for that experience?
God, no. No, I'd say that is the only sane course of action if you're an Avatar fan. Um, in part because it has been such a content drought since, any kind of Avatar related stuff. But it is definitely not uncommon for anybody from any country to come and visit Disney World.
Oh yeah, people
There
come from
were
all over the world to
so
go.
many. I heard so many languages in just those 3 days, more than I had ever heard any kind of languages in the rest of my life. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
they're
a world travel destination.
everywhere.
You would not be out of place for having traveled to Florida to see Disney World.
I was trying to strike up a conversation with two Asian ladies, East Asian ladies, that apparently didn't speak English. And so
Mm.
I felt like kind of a dumbass, but because they were just looking at me, like, we no speak, go away, please, you know. um, but it's definitely not uncommon for people to come from all over the world to
Plot,
that place.
plot twist.
And
Turns out they speak fluent Na'vi and you can converse with them.
I
I,
don't think I don't think Fluent Navi will help you converse with anybody at Disney Mahada unless you
uh,
are traveling with another Navi speaker.
it's funny because I was speaking so much Na'vi with Alim
That's excellent.
during that day. It was so much fun, and we got to show off, to all the freaking tsu'tey vertep that were working there. It was genuinely a lot of fun for people that are so invested into the franchise. And, who knows? Maybe you will meet someone there that just happens to be, a lurker on the Discord server or some member from the forums. You start speaking leNa'vi, they start speaking leNa'vi, you take them out to dinner, you have a few too many drinks, you watch the sunset, and then you wonder, wow, where was I going with this?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
I was going to say, so speaking of speaking leNa'vi, we don't really have anything else to talk about this episode, right?
Well, we've been talking for 40 minutes, so...
seems enough. No, we've already gone on long enough for a light episode.
So you thinking we should just end it here?
No, Lord, no. We're going to practice speaking leNa'vi.
Damn it, this is a learnna'vi podcast. We're going to speak the Na'vis.
This is the one constant of our podcast.
Kinwell Nafi's seat.
I'm sorry, this is only very loosely connected to Avatar, but this is how my train wreck of a brain works. Thinking Avatar and thinking Sigourney Weaver, and then I'm thinking that one movie that Sigourney Weaver played in Galaxy Quest. And one of my favorite lines in that entire movie was Sigourney Weaver saying, "I've got one job on this lousy ship. It's stupid, but I'm gonna do it, okay?" And her one job was talking to the computer, asking the computer questions. People would try to talk to the computer, but it wouldn't work until she repeated their question to the computer. So it's funny stuff.
Anyway, speaking of talking to other people in leNa'vi, we're going to get on with our leNa'vi conversation practice. Again, disclaimer, we're not experts, but we're doing our best and practicing. We're going to make mistakes. Ha, sivako.
Diverkupko.
Balloon.
Danga.
Seneftivei leNa'vi في بودكاست كيفك؟
Strake zene eywa'eveng sakem CV strak?
Tunsnu mokwa le'utalu fmok.
Damn. The word of the cast is fmok. It can be an interjection to say I'm jealous, but also it is just jealousy itself. So fmok. Ha. Fmok. Go.
Strane o efu fmok.
Luwer fmok niteng.
Pimiamo fit the palm alu, Paulu aungelu. So or ha.
Warulu jajar niet. Goed eywa'eveng.
Fihangi luwer jajar newot.
Fitr lutr jajar. Kaumu wel lunit.
Sådär. Luwer of mok mo ada edi. Det op ngedi. Nge det op edi. Och då är det mok. Sun pivet leNa'vi nilsan.
Strane. Strane he. Slä oelu steng ha. Peuntoruke.
Zugslam?
Strane. Strane.
Tsa efu lu Zugslam. Slä Mo'ara fgaietok anachr.
Silpeo et safja. O kefjau o eseneki fe ni win kefjak.
Sun go pivet eit side ut. zero wel ta mo'arati ngolop kufko mauker zola'u oe lì'fya olo ne ha
lì'fya olo.
frakker tok wel fitsinge lu IF maun unuteran tok
Zene aunga ne'olo. Where's the glottal stop? Ne'olo.
Ne'olo.
Kiva mo'arane ausiteng.
Ciao livo. Nit an. Sifunu veru nit an. Sle. Spelwell futa. Nek. Sal. Aja dollari.
Sran.
Aja dollarti apai.
Sranenge.
Slä.
Kem det uviel get tok ngai kevyak.
Ausiteng aunge dollarti lu apai nit an. Ekol ne'olo.
Eko.
Maktoko asiteng.
Disney di ekoko.
Strane.
No
Disney du-
kifätset sänge.
Disney lu tingazek. Tingazek aya napi zerau. Luketorar.
Strane. I får people heck. Te aungati teriran zera morane. And they're just like stung. Da, English it or
Ani luket sänge.
English
Man
är-
frötap.
Ane. Sådär.
Tatläng lu tatlänge an. Sakr fkotsun ifäkim sat sängne. Luke efwa di finga I tolaritsra.
Tungfut rut tungfut with akim. Tungfut fuel akim.
Mapam strakinga sakem CV o sauli fungai.
lungaistra.
Kaum.
Luwaru tekin so maarati.
Strane.
Förfen maarati.
Sram.
Uh,
Frappero a june.
Palmult hetheru alem tamsio muntatu ulte eng well eng filiut alu kaum pueru fmeri kepivult ni englise kefiak ulte poe folil futa poel folil futa oe polt san skaung go ulte steak oli nyt
Ke satsun po pivot leNa'vi kevyak.
Stran kepivult
Sådär. Tsaltam.
Sran.
Tsali ualus kaung smon ajatuteru kefjak.
Srana.
Sranace.
Skaung. Frapolomum. Futa filiutalus. Skaung.
Srana smon ajasuteru.
Sran. Ulte. Tsale u se liualu sevin. Lu. Fraliu poeumum.
Tuxlam.
Smon boeru snia okevjak.
Sto?
Srane biet o.
Stoalu Tuna Yayo.
Oh,
Srane.
Sran is yeah. Sran is pernen sto. Nyazik aliu.
Srane. Ingazike, ja.
Sla fit efu luer alu improve. I keep forgetting. Tsanul ne ul we se tsamsiu neteng beautiful leNa'vi
Fat skekking alu people
strane o efu ni tram deri tsau sa
Ansan. Srane ke people ewe net ke people ene napi we netam if de saniful.
Eking si alu fi podcaste.
Srane ne keft o dog well ye dog well this is dam thing me dog well say
Keftil valsefja. Lamweru fra fi podcast je hab etu tsanul. Taluna skekking. Skekking si ajoe.
Hake ivefu well för det we tsanulul.
O tuteo tsan ivul sakr kro boketsun sakem tiveri sakemi tiveri.
Srane ketserioe.
Zene fi podcasti CV aunga ne ul.
Fmerioe. Sla kelu aisteru kelu sauteru gur netam.
Srane pelu zeko slate
Zekotsatrak.
kehe bi efu beam let me just freaking look this up.
Le'upukne.
Tsaltam.
Tänker nga fuerau oe ni vägni italuna okefja oe terkuffeloe. Tisjet aoe.
Kelu tingazek for fueri ailu ut.
Slekuzo. Eana Slekuzo.
Zoslivu?
Zoslivo. Taleu. Zoslivo. Lua paia eltu krr.
Loho.
Or Zaule eltu. Zaule eltu. Zaule eltu krr.
Sanane. Lievu Eana oru pomtok.
Pomtok.
Aho
Swaltje.
aho rut efter Eana oru pomtok. Pomtok. Sanane.
Toilet au. Speel wel futa setsunoe pifeltai.
Pomtok. Mipal uweru.
Sanane pomron niteng.
Samele u tranten.
Stranten nuot.
Strane.
Ute nekeft o gelu inglese ru samele u nefien.
Vkotsun slifa tsun iftu ekefjak. Ne Engelse.
Strane tsun sliva tsu sra gelu weru liu lef geto.
Tam. Slolam.
Nerangal tsafne liu getivo.
Le uf podcast je lu fmok kefjak.
Strane.
Ma menga.
Weru lì'fya leNa'vi fmok weru.
Talun.
Skål tsu'tey people in English.
Fmok taluna nivel nga futa nga lifu na'vi. Nga lifu hap Tuna Yayo. Ute tsakr nga sivun pivot en na'vi nou fue.
Strane. Floridari. Where kelivu fmok. Taluna. Suira alu mosquito.
Sai suira.
Way meventi. Bite.
Frip.
Frip nit aan. Frip. Well,
Sai he aan.
Benny vac de biting
tsu'tey.
Ohak efu for.
Hak.
Ohak.
Ohak.
Strane. Jom for
Diftang.
rebiting. Zene for rive niteng kefjak.
Nimun.
Ningai ke multewe wehu. Tun fra tsafne he ang tiverku.
Set slamwell. Strane. Slamwell futa I he ang zijn arrivé. Wordt het afraal po zijn nivel repaiti. Sla mike sunuveru. Wordt het o he ang neo nivel weya repaiti. Takr fmio kivurak.
Strane kivurak tsai he anti.
Strane. Kesar wel tsale u pim. Tsale u dalu kurak. Solene oe spivel anker.
Slolam away. Nifker tsali'u wel solar nit an. Nehek.
Strane, nga tsaken si im gefjak. Tonga divia le ud amit. Tsakr nga sartsa le ud frakr. Ha set spinwell futa.
Safia o fa nolume oe nao.
Tsafia o anume lu sirsan gefjak. Talunav go tsun skekgang CV. Nirsan.
Tsuntivam sla of koke sivar mipa lit ailu tsakar ke nivume oe.
Stranet, zou fe. Sle, ne je tsale ualu kurak sivarko.
Srane, well, aisute sar mipa lit mong.
Mong, kes mong weg tsale u.
Mong.
Mong.
Mipa kem lit
Waiting.
Mong.
Mong.
Mong, slamset.
Mong well aisute sivar mipa ailu. Stendi vume.
Ken nou oe.
Kef mi veu oel mipa lit wefpi.
Ken nou oe si vraag le upukit. Sle, kes mong weg le utalu mong. Ha, straking at zo'n eywa'eveng leNa'vi. Voet salung ezik.
Du nyazik nit an sla tsunslu.
Tam, hase si srak?
Tam.
Stran. I'm just going to butcher the language the more I try. It's like
No,
I get
you're
a
doing fine.
little better, like, 5 minutes in, and that's where, I peak, and I feel like that's where we all peak, and then we just start going downhill.
Depends on.
More or less. With that, we're going to conclude our Na'vi practice and thus the episode. For a light episode, we still managed to record for over an hour, as is tradition. If you'd like to tune in to our next episode, make sure that you are subscribed, though, as I've mentioned before, I honestly don't know how people listen to podcasts without subscribing now, but whatever. Check us out. We do more episodes like this and talk about Avatar news, and hopefully next episode we'll have more substantial news because we've got stuff from like
Big
2 weeks
things
ago to
are
talk
coming.
about now.
Very big
No,
things.
big things came, and we just haven't had a substantial crew available to record an
Big
episode.
things came. We're going to talk about them. We're going to rehash last week's news. 2 weeks ago's news. Three
Actually,
weeks
3
ago's
weeks, right?
news, actually.
We only 3 weeks.
Literally last week tonight. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna keep doing this podcast as long as we can. Anyway, hi Levi.
Hi, Lovi.
Hello, bye. Drums.
We did it. Drums. Oh man, the freaking drums at Disney were fun.